This is the 7th step, customer paying and generation of invoice. So if you see in the last tutorials, we have this shopping cart of the customer, and there we have a click to pay now. When the customer clicks this, he is taken to an external provider like PayPal or whatever. And in a real project, when the payment is made, then the external provider makes a call back to a web API, and in that web API, payment etc. is put into the database, and after that, the customer is redirected to this page. Now in this project, I have not done this part and this part because it is not possible for me to show PayPal integration here, although it's a very easy thing otherwise. So basically, in between this stage, there is a PayPal stage, which basically passes through a web API redirection. This direct redirection is not there, it is coming through a web API of your own project only. So in this case, I'll just show a direct redirection. So what will happen is that when you click this button, you will come to this invoice. This is invoice number, date, etc., the total amount paid, etc. And this invoice is ultimately now stored in database. When this invoice is generated, this shopping cart is cleared away. But some items might not be in inventory. For example, customer wanted 34 items but inventory has 20 items. In that case, 20 will be transferred to the invoice database, but 34 minus 20, 14 will ultimately be staying in the shopping cart. So this is what is the whole plan. With this in mind, let us now have a look at the Visual Studio project. So let's open the index.cs HTML file where we have that pay now button. Let me show you towards the end. This is click to pay now, and we are taken to the invoice page, and there a handler called generate it works. So we have to generate the invoice from the invoice page. Call this function on the invoice page. So now we will come to the invoice page. This is the page that we have added today. You will have to spend some time in understanding the logic, but I'll go for it. This is the page model, the logger, the project context, the dependency injection constructor, a message, and this is the invoice that is actually shown on the invoice page. This invoice has a collection of invoice items associated. So this is what has to be shown on this page. But when the customer comes through the generate async, we have to make a new record for invoice and add it to the database. So the first thing we do is we take out the phone number of the user, and once we have the phone number of the user, we will be able to associate the invoice to this phone. And here we start by creating a list of invoice items. This list will be coming ultimately from the shopping cart. So we take out the shopping cart from cookies and we have to update the inventory as I told you. If this is the shopping cart and this is the inventory, then for each of the shopping cart barcodes, we will take out items from the inventory. And one by one we will make an updation because their reduction of the quantity has to be there. So this is the list of barcodes we take out of the cart items. And on the basis of this list, we are extracting products from the inventory. This contains dot to list. If you can see where product goes to list dot contains. So it is obtaining all the products which have this barcodes. So all the products from your database corresponding to each of the items in your shopping cart is now available here. And after this, these are totals and subtotals. This is a list of items to be removed from the cart. As I told you, an item is removed from the cart if the desired quantity in the shopping cart is less than the quantity in the database. This means the item is totally removed, but some items may need updation also, because a customer might say I want 50 items but there are only 20 in the inventory. In this case, the shopping cart will be updated. And then we have a for each running on all the cart items. For each cart item, we will be updating or removing the item from the shopping cart. So the first thing we do is we take out the product from the list of products that we already obtained. This will be faster because we have made one query just at the top. So this single query worked for us. Otherwise we would have required so many trips to the database. So this from this list we take out the product. If the quantity is not there, then we have nothing to remove or nothing to add, and we simply continue. Otherwise